Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Alexis Ware filling in for Terry Stiles. Alongside me is co-anchor Jim Hughes. Jim, thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem at all. Great to have you here. Thanks, Alexis, and hi, everybody. This week on tap, construction keeps rolling along. Also, a prominent visitor comes to Oxford community, and COVID-19 positive leads to new protocols.
All that and more, the Oxford News begins right now. Construction teams have been working around the clock on the M24 project. That hard work has paid off. It was announced recently the Burdick Street M24 intersection is now open for traffic. The announcement was made last Thursday at approximately 10 a.m. Workers from Dan's Excavating removed all barricades and reopened the intersection downtown, heading east and west.
A special visitor visited Oxford, this township recently. U.S. Representative Elissa Slotkin was in town touring 3 local businesses in the village. Slotkin was accompanied by Oakland County Commissioner Michael Spiz. Slotkin did a tour of Vaughn Custom Sports, Cam Logic, and Oxford Apothecary. And the visit to each company provided insight to each business in terms of its equipment, processes, products it provides, and the challenges that the business had to face continuing on during these challenging times. Vaughn Custom Sports received a $50,000 business savings lives grant from Oakland County earlier in the year, while the Apothecary and Company was the beneficiary of the grant from Oakland County's COVID-19 Stabilization Fund for Small Business. The grants were designed to provide support to help small businesses facing financial hardships caused by the recent pandemic. Again, they were definitely needed. Alexis?
In other news, new protocols have been deemed necessary and have been put into place following the recent COVID-19 positive at Oxford Youth Football Camp. Oxford Community Schools Director of Strategic Initiatives and Safety Operations, Jill Lamont, stated all conditioning programs associated with the football team have been following Michigan High School Athletic Association guidelines. This includes strict temperature checks before practice. All temperature checks are logged with an electronic questionnaire that is required by every student athlete daily. The MHSAA, which has their own guidelines separate from schools, states that if there is more than one individual who tests positive within one team, they must shut down for that activity for 2 consecutive weeks. It's also important to note the MHSAA is expected to announce further details for sports deemed moderate and high risk, such as boys soccer, football, and volleyball by Thursday, August 20th.
The recent primaries in Oxford Township saw a surge in voter turnout, according to the Oakland County Clerk's Office. Of nearly 17,000 registered voters in the township and village, a total of near 6,000 cast a ballot. Roughly 36% of the nearly 5,000 voters more than the March 10th election. Majority of those votes coming from the form of absentee balloting, as the absent ballot counting board processed and counted nearly 4,000 absentee ballots, nearly 1,000 votes from March's total back on March 10th. Alexis?
Thanks, Jim. In a year where small businesses have run into some tough times, a little bit of good news can go a long way. Homegrown Brewing Company in downtown Oxford was recently voted Best Brew Pub for the 2nd year in a row. The local family-driven brewery has worked hard to establish a reputation for quality in the craft beer scene, even providing curbside pickup while still maintaining a safe dine-in spot for residents. Located at 28 North Washington Street in the former Oxford Veterans Memorial Civic Center, the company has been open since 2017. Congrats to Homegrown.
I think we might want to do a story from there sometime. The Oxford Sheriff's Department is warning residents of scammers who are actually calling locals demanding money for bogus arrest warrants. Again, the Oxford County Sheriff at Oxford Township Substation logged 3 similar complaints last week from the residents who reported that the phone calls were from an individual claiming to be a law enforcement officer. On one occasion, the scammer claimed to be a Detective Clark, who, according to the Sergeant Frank Lentz, doesn't exist. Lentz went on to say the cases are usually hard to solve because the individual or individuals using the fake number is unable to be identified. The caller was informing residents of an outstanding warrant for his or her arrest that needed to be paid immediately using a credit card, check, or get this Apple iTunes gift card. Probably a big sign there. If you're someone you know that received one of these scam calls, please contact the Oakland County Sheriff's Office, the substation here at 248-969-3077. They would like more information regarding these scam calls, and hopefully no one else will get scammed.
Well, thanks, Jim, and that's all for Oxford News this week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories and others, pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader, go to the Charter Township of Oxford Facebook page, or better yet, you can catch us on Charter Spectrum 191, AT&T Channel 99, or our website at oxfordcommunitytelevision.org.
That's right. Thank you very much. Good to have you with me next to me today. We also want to thank our director in the back, of course, River Tuck, who makes it all possible for us. Thanks for watching Oxford News this week, again, where we bring your news closer to home. We always invite you to make sure to wear your mask when you're out in public. Absolutely. Until we do it all over again, have yourself a great day. Be careful out there in the construction and enjoy your week. We'll be back again next week on Oxford News this week.
We here at OCTV cover the local events and government meetings of Oxford, Addison, and Leonard. We also produce and edit programs for you viewers out there. With the leadership of our station manager, Bill Service, we have been a very successful team, winning awards from the state of Michigan for Best Electronic Media, giving attention to our local veterans. We also won awards for excellence in directing and educational programs. With the help of our great new equipment and our technical directors, we write, produce, and broadcast our local news for you. Without our production manager, Terry Stiles, our channel and station wouldn't be the well-oiled machine it is today. She coordinates the editing assignments and shoot schedule with our editors and camera people. OCTV and its communities make a great team.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, hungry bumblebees can coax plants into flowering and making pollen up to a month earlier than usual by punching holes in their leaves. Bees normally come out of hibernation in early spring to feast on the pollen of newly blooming flowers. However, they sometimes emerge too early and find that plants are still flowerless and devoid of pollen, which means the bees starve. Fortunately, bumblebees have a trick up their sleeves for when this happens. Consuelo de Moraes in Switzerland and her colleagues discovered that worker bumblebees can make plants flower earlier than normal by using their mouthparts to pierce small holes in the leaves. In a series of laboratory and outdoor experiments, the researchers found that bumblebees were more likely to pierce holes in the leaves of tomato plants and black mustard plants when deprived of food. The leaf damage caused the tomato plants to flower 30 days earlier than usual and the black mustard seed plants to flower 16 days earlier. It's still a mystery how the leaf damage promotes early blooming. Previous studies have found that plants sometimes speed up their flowering in response to stressors like intense light and drought, but the effects of insect damage haven't been studied much. The researchers were unable to induce early flowering by punching holes in the plant's leaves themselves. This suggests that the bees may provide additional cues to encourage flowering, like injecting chemicals from their saliva in the leaves when they pierce them. We hope to explore this in future work, de Moraes says. Well, that's it for this Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Welcome to Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from Automotive News. In our first story, Ford Motor Company has pushed back its return-to-work plans twice, most recently giving some salaried employees the option of working remotely until at least the end of this year. Outgoing CEO Jim Hackett thinks that policy is likely to continue beyond what the automaker has announced. It's my bet it will be extended beyond that, Hackett told reporters on the sidelines of an event promoting the new Bronco SUV. Hackett, who will retire effective October 1st, said the automaker is shifting what he calls we spaces or common office spaces to be more mindful of social distancing should workers elect to return to Ford facilities. Ford resumed production at North American manufacturing facilities in mid-May. At the same time, it recalled about 12,000 non-manufacturing employees whose jobs required them to be on site. Ford says more than 100,000 workers globally have returned to the workplace since May. Hackett said he doesn't want to rush the remainder of Ford's white-collar workforce back into offices as the pandemic continues to spread. In our next story, Republic Services says it would partner with startup EV maker Nikola Corporation to develop 2,500 electric waste and recycling collection trucks. The zero-emission vehicles, which will have a range of 150 miles, are expected to be integrated into Republic Services' fleet beginning in 2023, the U.S. Waste Disposal Company said. Republic highlighted quieter operation in neighborhoods, lower maintenance costs, and lower emissions as benefits of electrifying its fleet. The deal is expandable to 5,000 vehicles over the life of the agreement, the company said. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny.